The Randcast. The date is, I just said the date, December 14th.
Randcast, live from the Randatorium.
December 14th.
All Rand, all day, every day, live from the Randatorium.
You remember that?
Randcast.
Funnier, do it funkier, sweaty.
You shouldn't put a hyphen between Rand and cast. It should be all one word, Randcast.
Why, did she do that?
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I don't know. I didn't see it. So you saw it. You didn't listen to it?
We need a graphic.
You didn't
we
listen to it?
We need a graphic. It went up today, man.
No, it went up yesterday, I believe.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I don't know when it went up, but it went up. So the first thing is, so I leave my house at the same time I always do, and I ended up here 15 minutes earlier than usual.
It's crazy.
I don't know. They must be selling the Corona again.
The Corona? What's that?
It's just crazy. It's insane. It really has a bearing on the traffic here. They're afraid to go out, or they're not afraid to go out. You know what I mean? Maybe, I know what it is. I bet you I figured out the math. The math is this. Everybody got their shot and their second shot, but they didn't get their boosters yet. So they're afraid to go out.
That's right.
Did you get your booster?
I don't have a booster.
Do your parents want a booster?
I don't know.
They're older people.
They are older.
No, I don't think so, though. Your mom doesn't sound that afraid, and she's not around as many children. You know, children are germ bombs.
Yeah.
They snot all over themselves, and then they snot all over each other, and they chew on each other and suck on each other. It's, very dangerous thing.
Well, I don't know about wearing a mask for the whole COVID thing. I'm not going to get into that. But I feel like they'd almost be fools not to during the flu season for a couple of weeks. The numbers are dramatically down last year for the flu in an effort to...
It's a pile of shit. The flu was down because of all the phony... I just set the timer. The flu was down because of all the phony false negatives, man.
What do you mean? I think kids were washing their hands more and they were using more sanitizers.
Where do you get this from?
From my mom. She was in the school district. The school district numbers.
She's
at least in Boone County. She's privy to that. Yeah, she's privy to that information. Their numbers were down drastically, and that was because people were being overcautious for COVID, so less people contracted the flu.
All right, I just won't touch it because I'm not going to argue with Mary Lee.
That's right. But you'll argue with me.
In a heartbeat.
Well, there you go. So I'm just going to start putting her stamp on everything.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you used to fear me having my own relationship with your parents?
I don't.
You used to.
I just know them. They don't want to be bothered.
You were the only one bothered. The first time I went out with my family and your family was your parents and your sisters. We went to the Huddle House 3 or 4 times without you.
Yeah, that's fucked
They
up.
were fine with it. You were not. Why? What was the issue?
I don't have time. You got to get your affairs in order.
Were you afraid I was going to expose you or something?
No. I don't know, man, because I had stuff going on. Last thing I needed was to have to go to dinner and deal.
You weren't even around. You were in Nashville, and when you found out about it, you're like, "You're not allowed."
There's only one person that hates your repetitive stories more. It'd probably be my dad.
Me and Jim are cool as fuck. I also got some dirt on you yesterday.
Oh yeah, like what?
The way your mother subscribed it. Well, not dirt. The way your mother described it was Jim used to put you in the Boston Crab when you were a little bit older.
Yeah. When I was a kid, yeah.
So that's where you got it from.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, Jim. Why didn't you ever tell me, Jim? Jim must have been a bigger wrestling fan than you lead on.
He was a wrestling fan in passing. You have to realize he came up on the AWA territory. They used to go to Boylan High School to watch AWA.
Rockford, Boylan. They wouldn't let me in Rockford, Boylan.
And I think he was probably like everyone else was probably tuning into wrestling in the mid 80s, like 85. He liked Piper. When wrestling really boomed, when Vince blew up in 85 and WrestleMania 86, 87. Everybody, wrestling was pop culture. So I think he would watch a little bit of it, but he wasn't. Like I said, he was a casual fan.
When he put you in the Boston Crab, would he really cinch that thing in, or just?
I don't remember. I was really little.
You don't remember being in pain?
No pain.
It was nothing compared to the. What did you used to?
No,
put-
I think he would
what'd
just
you
would
put-
just grab me and stuff and say, "Oh, you're in the Boston Crab." I don't think it was a textbook technical Boston Crab.
Well, what was? Why did you then have to apply it so stiffly to your twin sisters?
Because,
what did
man,
you sharpshoot? You
Because I don't do
sharpshot
business, man.
You sharp
That's
shot
right,
'em.
bitches.
You sharp shot your sisters.
Anybody, you get in the ring with me, I don't do business, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna slap that hold on you.
That was the first time anyone ever coined the term sharp,
Sharp
shot.
shot.
Eileen and Natalie were sharp shot.
Yeah,
Who got more sharpshooters put on them?
probably Eileen because she was a wrestling fan.
Natalie, not so much.
No.
Okay.
Eileen, me and my sister were pretty big fans, and she, maybe because I was a fan,
Yeah.
and so little sister, big brother. But we used to. A friend of mine, that was back in the day when you could, if you had a satellite dish or a box, you could get the
guys have
pay-per-views
that?
for free. No, my friend's
Oh.
grandfather had one of those big Magnum satellite dishes the size of your
Yeah.
backyard,
Yeah.
and he would be able to tap into the pay-per-views for free, sometimes with no sound. But we would go watch WWF pay-per-views at his house. When we
So
were
would that
kids.
be pirating the pay-per-view or no?
I don't know how. Like I said, it was looser back
those
then.
were gigantic.
Yeah, I don't know.
dishes.
Well, the same. Then my other buddy also had the same dish, and we used to get the Madison Square Garden network. So we used to get
That
MSG
would be
Live and Boston Garden Live,
That would be cool.
and the Spectrum channel. We used to get. I have VHSs that recordings of all the live events when I was a kid in the late '80s. We watched every month, every single live Garden show and every single Spectrum and Boston show.
in some cases, those are better than pay-per-views.
Boston was on Nesson.
In some cases, those are better than the pay-per-views.
Well, it was kind of funny
was a
'cause
house show,
we would
right?
go, yeah, but we go to a live event at Rockford, and then wait a minute, we just saw these matches, kind of almost to a T.
How old were you when you started to smarten up?
Well, that was the first time I mean, I always heard the rumblings, but that's why it's beautiful to be a child and watch pro wrestling, because even if it's not on the level, if the performers are good enough, you can still be sucked in.
Yeah.
I remember guys taking heat. See, it wasn't about the moves. It was all about who I liked, who I disliked. And every time, even though a babyface always took heat, I swear to God, every time I watched a match that I was emotionally invested to, I'm like, there's no way they're going to get out of this. There's no way they're going to make a comeback. This heel's going to go straight through and win. So I guess thinking back on it, I guess that would be the first time I was smartened up, was when I would see the live events in Rockford or Chicago, and then we'd watch the MSG network and see the same damn match.
You guys don't know this, but in the territories, that's how it used to be. Now, in the Memphis territory,
But you wouldn't come back. You would maybe take that match around the loop, but when you came back to that town the next week, you wouldn't have the same match.
no,
Always come back.
because TV would be different too. But a point I'm trying to make is that, so that's the guys phoning it in. A lot of times in Memphis, that would happen when we basically the same match, because we didn't share a locker room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you also have to give us credit because we come up with that match on the fly, not sharing a locker room or seeing each other talking until you got in the ring. Then you just kind of go with what works.
And that's something,
Now, right from the get-go, I did not want to have the same match every night.
No.
No, I mean, they all did.
You have
it was hard enough.
Well, here's the thing, and I've been in the same scenario. I never wanted to have the same matches.
Yeah.
In a territory like Puerto Rico, but certain things that worked, you would use. There were some go-tos that.
Well, I eat a sharpshooter, but the point is I'm trying to make, without smartening the world up entirely,
Too late.
is, even then I was striving.
Right.
Robert Fuller was one of the best with it. He'd say, son, I've been in this industry 30 years, my family this, my family that, and I don't know how you done it, but you got me out here watching your goddamn matches every night.
Well, that's something.
And then I would go to Rob and say, why do we do the same match? Find that out. Well, I want to do stuff different. I want to get better. I'm here to learn. I'm certainly not here to get rich.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then I would do that stuff. Well, son, you're the heel. You calling it. Go out there and change it.
Yeah. Well, that's something. We're a weekly town, and I wish some of these guys, that's important, to not do the same thing. When you work when you go back to the same town, especially every week, Now, I didn't do that quite as much, but about every month I would go back to the same town. You can't do the same stuff.
No.
You've got to be, that's when you really learn, is when you have to go back to a town and, you know, week in, week out, month in, month out,
get
and
'em
come
to
up with
buy
something
it.
different. Yeah, you can't come back with the same thing.
See, you guys were married to each other, but not married to each other the
a
way
great
we
shot.
were. The way we were. I don't like this though. I don't know what this turkey neck is. This turkey neck? No, my head's down. You guys were married, but not married like we were. You know, I knew I was stuck with before I even got my booking sheet and said, "You're going to be working with Mike Awesome for the next 29 days." You know. And I was like, wow. You know what I mean? Oh, no. But I definitely changed it on him because, like I said, the first night he almost killed me. You know what I mean? He wasn't exactly smartened up yet, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, this is the podcast, the Randcast preview. We're going to be talking later on the subscribe or on the Patreon version. I want to talk about Tony Khan putting his money where his mouth is. I want to talk about Taz's kid, Hook. Have you heard of Hook?
No.
Oh, my God. And we're going to talk about the car crash that is Hannibal.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Eddie Gilbert hitting Jerry Lawler with a car.
No, it's not too much to talk about it. You know, we already talked about it. Great angle. They ruined it because of PC. So back to what I was going to talk about. What the hell was I talking about? So anyway, we are having that same match every night. I didn't want to do that. I was there to learn. Yeah. In a lot of ways, my wanting to learn might have hurt me because I was a better worker than I thought back then. You understand what I'm saying to you? Mm-hmm. You know? I could have taken what I had and ran with it for Vince. I just wasn't. When you're on the road, then you're working 8 times a week, and then you're working 15 times a week. You don't have time to watch anybody else's shit. I'm here, I'm focused, and I want to learn. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I should have, because I was good enough in '90 to go work for Vince better than most of the roster, most of the younger roster, you know. But I didn't. I just still wanted to learn. But at the end of the day, having that knowledge is never going to hurt you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I could work with anybody. I could work any kind of match. Mm-hmm. You know, I could go out to this one town they had. I forget what the name of the town was, but they called it Cecilville. Ever tell you that Cecil Hedge story?
Maybe, I don't know.
So Cecil Hedge was he used to go and do jobs on the USWA television in Memphis. It would air live in his town. And then once a year, they'd go out and run Cecilville. I wish I could tell you the name of the town, but I just can't remember. So Cecil was a short, fat guy, probably 5'9", and gigantor, you know. Well, he's one of those guys, those overeaters, that he was the first one I actually was aware of, because, you know, you didn't see him on TV, he couldn't get off the couch. He got like up to 800 pounds. Now, Rikish got up to 800 pounds, but he was, what, 6'2", 6'3"? Not Rikish. Yokozuna. This guy was 5'9".
Yeah.
You know, so he was supposed to die in one way, shape, or form. He got down to a svelte 650. You know? Now, he couldn't come in and do the job that day because he wasn't in that good a shape, but I wasn't thinking about it. But he was pimping for that night in his town, Cecilville. Mm-hmm. You know? So we get there, and he's pimping, he's taking me on in the main event in Cecilville. You know? It was awesome, though, man. The place is packed. Their little high school, 3,000 people in there, dude. It wasn't an empty. All right, let me finish the Cecilville story, and then we'll go on to the other thing. But so long story short, it was amazing because all these people were there to support their local guy, Cecil. Mm-hmm. And man, before I got into the ring, it was a shoot. Half the police department pushed me up against the wall and frisked me. You know, and it wasn't a gimmick, just to make sure I didn't hurt Cecil. Mm-hmm. So we get in the ring, and Cecil's 650 pounds. He's svelte, and on the opening spot, something happened to his leg, and he dropped to his knee and couldn't get up. You know, and then I had to go do 20 minutes with him regardless, and then finally put him over with his citrus splash. But I had those people going batshit, dude. I mean, I had legitimate heat. I had to be escorted out of the building, and I got 20 minutes out of Cecil on one knee. You know what I mean? But that was awesome. That's the territory stuff that you're never going to hear about or see again. You know what I mean? I'm going to look up Cecil Hedge. Cecil Hedge was his name. All right, so let me come up with something provocative first to get you guys to figure it's worth a damn to see what we're going to say next. And boy, I sure wish I had thought about this on the fly. I should be able to still do it though. So, okay, you got Tony Khan, AEW, talking all this stuff. You know, Tony's making outrageous claims, and a lot of the wrestling fans are eating it like candy. You know, but it's all BS because there's no proof in said pudding. One of the things he said that bothered me is when people sign up or get under contract or get hired by AEW, they know there's a future. No, they don't. No, they don't. You know? And what I want to talk about is if everything's so great and the future's so bright, the AEW roster and Tony Khan got to wear shades, where are the live events?